Outliers, the story of success. Welcome to BookShareAudio, where every page opens a world of insight and every story deepens our understanding of human success. Today we explore Outliers, the story of success, a book that challenges how we define talent, hard work, and achievement. This reflection does not retell the story or summarize chapters. Instead, it explores the deeper principles and ideas that emerge from its pages. The truths about opportunity, culture, effort, and timing that reveal what truly lies behind greatness. The book begins with a simple yet transformative idea. Success is not solely the result of intelligence, ambition, or individual willpower. Instead, it is a complex pattern shaped by hidden opportunities, cultural inheritance, and social structures that silently guide human destiny. Every great achievement, from scientific innovation to sports mastery, carries within it a story not just of personal effort, but of circumstance, of being in the right place, at the right time, with the right support system. The first key idea is that success grows from context, not isolation. Society tends to glorify the individual genius, the prodigy who rises from nothing, the visionary who triumphs through sheer brilliance. Yet behind every story of triumph is an ecology of factors: time, environment, mentorship, culture, and chance. Just as the tallest tree in the forest grows not only from a strong seed, but from fertile soil and the absence of crushing shadows, so too does human excellence depend on invisible conditions that allow talent to flourish. This reframes how we see success, as a collective outcome, not a solitary act. The story of Roseto, a small immigrant town in Pennsylvania, embodies this truth. Decades ago, researchers found that its residents had a remarkably low rates of heart disease, not because of diet or genetics, but because of community. Their health came from their way of life, from shared meals, intergenerational homes, close friendships, and deep respect for neighbors. This finding dismantled the belief that individual behavior alone determines well-being. It revealed that human flourishing is born from connection, social trust, and belonging. Likewise, success, too, is born not from isolated ambition, but from the invisible web of relationships that surround a person. The next profound idea is known as the Matthew effect, named after the biblical verse, "For unto everyone that hath shall be given, and he shall have abundance." It describes how small advantages compound over time to produce massive disparities in outcome. In sports, education, and business, those who start slightly ahead often receive better resources, training, and confidence, while those who lag behind are subtly excluded. This accumulative advantage creates the illusion of innate superiority, when in truth, it is often timing and structure that propel one person upward and leave another behind. This principle shatters the myth of pure meritocracy. In Canadian hockey, for example, players born early in the year dominate professional leagues because the cutoff date for youth teams favors them. Older children in each age group are stronger, faster, and thus more likely to be chosen for elite teams. More training follows, which amplifies the gap. Over time, a small advantage at age 9 becomes a career-defining difference. This same bias quietly operates in schools, where older students perform better, are labeled gifted, and receive more encouragement, while younger classmates internalize failure. The result is a self-fulfilling system where initial advantage creates lifelong privilege. This insight calls for reflection on fairness. Society often assumes equal opportunity exists simply because everyone is given the same starting line. Yet, equality of opportunity requires more than shared access. It demands awareness of invisible imbalances that shape early development. Without addressing those, success remains skewed, favoring not just the capable, but the lucky. Another central revelation of Outliers is the 10,000-hour rule, the idea that mastery arises not from innate genius, but from sustained, deliberate practice. Across disciplines, music, science, sports, technology, great performers have invested roughly 10,000 hours in honing their craft. This threshold represents the brain's journey from competence to automatic excellence. Yet the key is not merely hard work, but access to conditions that make such devotion possible. Few people can practice for 10,000 hours without support. They need time, mentorship, and opportunity. Consider the Beatles, who achieved mastery not overnight, but through relentless performance in the clubs of Hamburg, where they played up to 8 hours a night. Those long, grueling sessions sharpened their skill, stamina, and creativity far beyond their peers. Likewise, Bill Gates and Bill Joy reached technological greatness because they encountered computers at a time when few others could. They practiced endlessly because chance placed them near rare resources, early time-sharing systems, and open labs that allowed experimentation without limit. Their brilliance was amplified by access, not born in isolation. This perspective dismantles the romantic notion of the self-made genius. It shows that greatness is the intersection of ability, opportunity, and effort. The talented who lack opportunity rarely emerge, while those who gain extraordinary access multiply their potential through persistence. Talent, then, is the seed. Opportunity is the soil. Time is the sunlight that allows it to bloom. A deeper thread running through these ideas is the power of cultural legacy. The traditions and values inherited from family and ancestry silently shape behavior, mindset, and even perception of success. Cultural patterns define how people respond to authority, face challenges, and interpret failure. These inherited attitudes can empower or restrain. For instance, some cultures value collective responsibility and perseverance, producing strong work ethics and disciplined learning. Others emphasize hierarchy or independence, shaping how people speak, collaborate, or lead. Understanding cultural legacy explains why patterns of achievement vary across societies. It shows that intelligence and diligence are not universal forces floating in isolation. They are cultivated within specific environments of expectation. The respect for precision seen in Asian cultures, especially in mathematics, is not a genetic trait, but a reflection of agricultural traditions that valued patience, timing, and meticulous care, traits that transfer naturally to cognitive endurance and learning discipline. Success, then, is not just what we do, but how centuries of behavior have taught us to approach life itself. Another powerful theme is meaningful work. People who succeed are often those who find purpose in their effort, a sense that their labor connects to something larger. Meaning fuels persistence when challenges arise. The cultural value of hard work in certain communities is not rooted in blind discipline, but in belief, the faith that effort will yield fruit, that diligence honors family or destiny. This mindset transforms obstacles into opportunities for mastery. Throughout the book's reflections, a pattern emerges. Chance opens the door, culture defines the approach, and effort turns potential into excellence. Every success story is thus a tapestry woven from luck, legacy, and labor. The tragedy of misunderstanding this truth is that society continues to reward only visible results while ignoring the hidden scaffolding beneath them. We praise genius but neglect the ecosystem that makes genius possible. We admire the harvest but forget the soil. The idea of timing also plays a crucial role. Being born in the right year, at the right moment in history, can determine whether talent meets opportunity. Many of the pioneers of the computer revolution were born between 1953 and 1956, old enough to access early machines in their youth, yet young enough to seize the technological explosion of the 1970s. Those few years defined who would dominate the digital world. This insight humbles us. It reminds us that historical moments, not just personal will, shape destiny. Beyond individuals, Outliers invites a broader reflection on what society values. If achievement is cumulative and contextual, then the duty of institutions is to distribute opportunity more equitably. It is not enough to identify talent. We must cultivate it. Education systems that group children by birth date rather than developmental stage, or workplaces that ignore mentorship for newcomers, waste immense human potential. A fairer world is one that designs environments where effort can compound for all, not just for the few who begin with advantage. The book also exposes how misinterpreting success fuels inequality. When we assume achievers earned everything through personal virtue, we justify the failure of others as lack of ability. This thinking breeds complacency among the privileged and hopelessness among the disadvantaged. Recognizing the structural nature of success reintroduces empathy into ambition. It shifts the question from, why didn't they try harder, to what conditions kept them from trying? That awareness is not an excuse, it is a responsibility. Another insight is the difference between being smart and being practical. Intelligence alone does not guarantee success. It must meet social skill, timing, and cultural understanding. Some individuals with high IQs fail to achieve because they cannot translate intellect into influence or resilience. Others with moderate intelligence but exceptional adaptability thrive. True success arises from balance, intellect sharpened by emotional and social intelligence. The book further explores how certain social norms inhibit or empower communication. In aviation, for example, cultural hierarchy once caused co-pilots to hesitate in warning captains of danger. Understanding this dynamic led to new training, emphasizing open communication, saving countless lives. This illustrates how cultural humility, the ability to question authority and collaborate, can determine outcomes as profoundly as technical skill. Taken together, these ideas form a philosophy of success grounded not in arrogance but in awareness. To understand greatness, one must study not only the person but the system, the history, family, mentors, and opportunities that converge to make excellence possible. Every success is a social story written across generations. This understanding reshapes education, leadership, and personal growth. Teachers who grasp the hidden patterns of advantage can nurture potential more fairly. Leaders who recognize cultural legacy can manage teams with empathy. Individuals who understand that mastery takes time can replace frustration with patience. Instead of comparing beginnings to others' endings, they can focus on consistency, knowing that greatness is rarely instant but always cumulative. Perhaps the most liberating lesson is that anyone can grow if given time, guidance, and purpose. The myth of the born genius fades before the reality of human adaptability. We all have the capacity to develop extraordinary skill through deliberate practice, meaningful mentorship, and supportive environments. What separates the remarkable from the ordinary is often not brilliance, but sustained opportunity. In a world obsessed with immediate success, Outliers reminds us that true achievement is a long conversation between the individual and the environment. It is the result of chance met with preparation, of passion guided by patience. Recognizing this truth inspires humility among the successful and hope among those still striving. It teaches that while we cannot control timing or heritage, we can control our dedication, our openness to learn, and our willingness to build communities that multiply opportunity for everyone. Success, then, is not a solo performance, but a symphony. Every note of effort joins with the rhythm of history, culture, and chance to create harmony. The more we understand the unseen instruments, the mentors, the traditions, the systems, the more beautiful the music of achievement becomes. Thank you for listening to BookShareAudio, where ideas come alive through reflection. If this exploration inspired you, please like and subscribe to support the channel. Share your thoughts or request the next book you'd love to hear in the comments below. Your voice shapes the stories we share next.